Did you know that at the peak of its existence, Allis-Chalmers was the largest employer in the state of Wisconsin? And for one interesting reason, 78% of the company's massive workforce happened to be females. If you thought Allis-Chalmers was only responsible for revolutionizing agriculture, powering factories, and engaging in other notable construction such as the Hoover Dam, then you couldn't be more wrong. Among other things, this is the same company that secretly helped win World War II using the atomic bomb. But its incredible story started with a farm boy who made the mistake of dabbling into law practice before ending up in his true calling, machinery. The amazing journey of Allis-Chalmers kick-started with the founder buying a bankrupt company and then turning it into a multi-billion-dollar empire. But how did it all crumble into the same bankruptcy from which it was born? We'll have to travel back in time to unravel this mystery. We begin with the man who started it all, Edward Phelps Allis, born in Cazenovia, New York on May 12, 1824. Raised in a modest, hard-working family, young Edward was part of a large household with 5 siblings. His father, John Allis, was a humble farmer, while his mother, Mary Allis, ran the household with discipline and care. These early lessons in perseverance and grit would stick with Edward throughout his life. Despite his agricultural upbringing, Edward had his eyes set on a future far beyond the family farm. He attended Union College in Schenectady, New York, where he initially studied law. Yes, law. Who could have predicted that a man destined to become a titan of industry started his career arguing in courtrooms? However, after a short stint practicing law, Edward realized the profession wasn't for him. The allure of industry and business beckoned, particularly as the US was rapidly industrializing in the mid-1800s. In 1857, Edward took a gamble that would forever change his life. He purchased a bankrupt iron foundry in Milwaukee, Wisconsin, originally known as the Reliance Works. At the time, the foundry was struggling financially, burdened with debts, and failing to meet the growing industrial demand for machinery and tools. Allis was undeterred. He was a man with a vision. He wanted to create machinery that would revolutionize American agriculture and manufacturing, but it wouldn't be easy. The early years were full of challenges. Not only was the country heading into the Civil War, but economic panics, including the Panic of 1857, which meant securing finances and capital, were extremely difficult. Yet he persisted, working tirelessly to diversify the foundry's product lines, which eventually included steam engines, water wheels, and industrial machinery. This adaptability and ambition set the foundation for what would later become the Allis-Chalmers empire. After the Civil War, Allis's foundry began to find its footing, expanding its reach into multiple industries. The company's strategy was simple but effective: focus on innovation, diversify product offerings, and always look for ways to improve efficiency. Under his leadership, the company ventured into producing steam engines, water turbines, and machinery for various industries, like textiles, manufacturing, and most notably, agriculture. The focus on agricultural equipment was crucial. As America continued its westward expansion, farmers needed more efficient tools to work the land. Edward saw an opportunity to fill this demand by designing durable and efficient machines, and by the late 1860s, his company had gained a reputation for manufacturing reliable and affordable agricultural equipment. But financial challenges were never far behind. The company faced a significant downturn during the Panic of 1873, which sent shockwaves through the US economy. Facing these challenges head-on, Allis realized that partnerships were essential for survival, and thus the seeds of what would become Allis-Chalmers were planted. In 1901, after Edward's passing, the Edward P. Allis Company merged with 3 other prominent firms: Fraser & Chalmers, Gates Iron Works, and Dixon Manufacturing Company. Together, they formed Allis-Chalmers, a company that would go on to dominate the world of machinery. These early mergers weren't just about survival, they were about positioning Allis-Chalmers to become a global player. By pooling resources and technological innovations from each firm, the company was able to significantly increase its product lines and expand into new markets. The newly formed company quickly diversified its offerings, extending into the manufacture of agricultural machinery, mining equipment, and turbines for power plants. This wasn't just strategic, it was transformative. Allis-Chalmers became a name synonymous with innovation, power, and industrial might. And boy, did they innovate. This company wasn't content with just doing what everyone else was doing. No, they had to push the envelope, creating machines that were bigger, better, and more efficient than anything else on the market. One of the crown jewels in Allis-Chalmers' product line was the all-crop harvester, introduced in the 1930s. This machine was a game-changer for American farmers. It wasn't just about harvesting crops, it was about doing it more efficiently and with less labor, which was especially important during the Great Depression, when farm incomes were low and every penny mattered. So, what made the all-crop harvester so iconic? For starters, it was incredibly versatile. Farmers could use it to harvest a wide range of crops, from wheat and oats to soybeans and barley. Prior to this innovation, farmers would need different equipment for different crops, which was not only inefficient but also costly. The all-crop streamlined the entire process, allowing farmers to invest in just one machine that could handle multiple tasks. And let's not forget about its self-cleaning mechanism, which saved hours of manual labor. The harvester also boasted state-of-the-art design features, as it came with a header, reel, and a draper assembly that fed crops into the threshing cylinder, where grain and chaff were separated. Placed side by side, its threshing system separated grains from chaff more efficiently than any other machine that came before it. Farmers quickly realized that the all-crop harvester could do the job of multiple specialized machines, saving them both time and money. The success of the all-crop harvester helped propel Allis-Chalmers into the spotlight as a leader in agricultural machinery, and its distinctive orange color became synonymous with quality and durability on farms across the nation. By the 1940s, the all-crop harvester had sold more than 150,000 units, making it one of the most popular and successful farming machines of its time. But this innovative machine wasn't popular in the US alone. It found its way to farms all around the world. This made the company a household name in agriculture and established it as a leader in farm equipment manufacturing. But their influence didn't stop at farming. In the early 20th century, as cities across the world began to electrify, Allis became a key player in power generation. The company produced turbines used in hydroelectric plants, including the massive Hoover Dam project. If you can imagine it, then Allis must have contributed to building it. Their turbines didn't just power factories, they lit up cities and kept homes warm. This established them as an industrial might, and they were therefore perfectly positioned to profit from the war to come. The outbreak of World War II catapulted Allis-Chalmers into an even more prominent position, just as it brought new challenges and opportunities. Like many American companies, they quickly pivoted to support the war effort, manufacturing military equipment for the US Army and Allied forces. From tractors to turbines that powered military installations, Allis-Chalmers contributed to nearly every aspect of the war effort. All through the war, the company's factories were working at full capacity, churning out military vehicles, artillery shells, and even tanks. But the most outstanding contribution of Allis-Chalmers is that it literally helped America and Allied forces win the war with the production of the atomic bomb. During the war, the company played a crucial, top-secret role in the development of the atomic bomb, which was tagged the Manhattan District Project. Secret research and productions took place in West Allis at the Allis-Chalmers Corporation. Tasked with designing and building massive compressors used for uranium enrichment, their machines were vital for separating uranium isotopes, a key step in creating the atomic bomb. These compressors, used at Oak Ridge, Tennessee, helped produce the enriched uranium that fueled the bombs dropped on Hiroshima and Nagasaki. The company's work was so secret that only a handful of employees knew about it, and it remained classified for years even after the war. At one point, this company was the largest employer in the state of Wisconsin. One incredible thing was that with most of the men away at war, the company had a 78% female workforce, and most of them didn't even know that they were indirectly working for the Department of Defense. Another top-secret fact was that Allis-Chalmers produced more equipment by weight for the Manhattan District Project to develop the atomic bomb than any other company. At one point, it even hosted Roosevelt, the President of the United States himself. In addition to its contribution to the atomic bomb, Allis-Chalmers produced gun systems and electrical controls for ships, among other military machinery essential to the US war effort. Its bulldozers and tractors helped build infrastructure for troops in harsh environments, significantly aiding Allied forces. The wartime contracts led to a massive financial boom for the company, catapulting it into a billion-dollar empire by the 1950s. Another standout contribution from Allis-Chalmers during the war was the invention of the M7 snow tractor, a machine designed for navigating the harsh, icy terrains of Europe and the Pacific. These snow tractors played a pivotal role in supplying Allied troops during the infamous Battle of the Bulge, ensuring that soldiers could get supplies across treacherous snowy landscapes. However, the company didn't just contribute to the war effort with machinery. They were also involved in developing radar and radio equipment, which helped improve communication on the battlefield. By the end of the war, this company had cemented itself as a key player in America's industrial war machine. Wartime government contracts caused the company's revenues to skyrocket. By the end of World War II in 1945, their annual revenue had topped $100 million, with a significant portion of these profits coming from military equipment sales. This windfall allowed the company to expand its operations even further, setting the stage for its post-war ventures into the atomic age. After World War II, Allis-Chalmers embarked on one of its most ambitious projects yet: nuclear energy. Yes, the same company that built tractors was now helping to build nuclear reactors. In the 1950s, as the world was transitioning from coal to atomic energy, Allis Inc. was at the forefront of this technological shift. They played a role in building some of the first nuclear power plants in the US and reactors for the US Navy. Their most notable contribution came in 1954, when they designed and built the electrical generating equipment for Shippingport Atomic Power Station in Pennsylvania, the world's first full-scale nuclear power plant for peaceful energy production. This was a monumental achievement that solidified Allis-Chalmers' position as an innovator in both energy and industrial machinery. In addition to Shippingport, the company also supplied equipment for several other nuclear facilities across the US, including reactors at Oak Ridge, Tennessee and Hanford, Washington, key sites in the Manhattan Project. The move into nuclear energy represented the company's forward-thinking vision. As traditional energy sources were becoming more strained, the company recognized the potential of atomic energy not only for military use, but also as a way to power homes and businesses across the globe. This venture not only opened new markets for the company, but also solidified its status as a technological leader. In the post-war era, Allis-Chalmers seized the opportunity to expand beyond American borders. They entered markets in Europe, Asia, and Africa, capitalizing on the need for industrial machinery in rebuilding economies. The company built factories and offices worldwide, producing everything from tractors to construction equipment. Their products were in high demand as countries sought to rebuild and modernize their infrastructure. In many ways, Allis helped shape the industrial landscape of the 20th century on a global scale. The company was riding high, and it seemed like nothing could stop them, but as we'll see, the seeds of their downfall were already being planted. Despite their successes, the post-war period also marked the beginning of trouble for Allis-Chalmers. The company was plagued by a series of labor strikes that disrupted operations and caused massive financial losses. Starting as far back as the 1930s and continuing through the 1960s, workers at various Allis-Chalmers plants staged strikes over issues like wages, working conditions, and union representation. These weren't small, localized strikes either. Some of them lasted for months and involved thousands of workers. The most notorious strike occurred in 1939 at the company's West Allis plant in Wisconsin. The strike, which lasted for over a year, was one of the largest labor disputes in American history at the time. Workers demanded better pay and working conditions, but the company was resistant to their demands, leading to a long and bitter standoff. The strike made national headlines and put the company under intense public scrutiny. But the labor disputes weren't the only problem of Allis Inc. In the 1950s, Allis-Chalmers found itself embroiled in several antitrust lawsuits. The US government accused the company of participating in price-fixing schemes with other major industrial players, which led to lengthy court battles and substantial fines. These legal troubles damaged the company's reputation and drained its financial resources. By the 1970s, Allis Inc. was struggling to stay afloat. The company faced stiff competition from newer, more robust companies like Caterpillar and John Deere, which were quickly gaining market share in the agricultural and construction equipment industries. The company's management was slow to adapt to these changes, and its once dominant position in the market began to crumble. At the same time, the company's international expansion efforts were proving to be more costly than anticipated. While they had successfully established a global presence, the costs of maintaining factories and offices in multiple countries were starting to take a toll. By the late 1970s, the company was practically bleeding cash. In 1985, after years of financial struggle, Allis-Chalmers filed for bankruptcy. It was a stunning fall for a company that had once been at the top of the industrial world. The company's various divisions were sold off to competitors, and their names slowly faded into obscurity. It was the end of an era. However, the legacy of Allis-Chalmers didn't entirely disappear. Many of the company's innovations in agriculture, power generation, and industrial equipment continue to influence modern technology. Their contributions to major infrastructure projects like the Hoover Dam and their role in World War II are still remembered as significant achievements. So, the next time you drive past a massive piece of industrial equipment or see a farm stretching across the horizon, remember that there was once a company named Allis-Chalmers that helped make it all possible. And while their story may have ended in bankruptcy, their influence on the world we live in today is undeniable. We hope you found this story both fascinating and motivational. Let us know in the comments which company's story you'd like us to explore next. Don't forget to subscribe to our channel and hit the bell icon.